Hey, we're
Jazz hands.
back.
Jazz hands.
It's us.
Welcome back, everybody.
Morning, jazz hands.
Warning, jazz hands. It's the same people who were before, playing the same characters they were
Yep.
playing before.
We're back.
So when we left off, Copernicus was just about to confront Vince McDuero, which effectively means Vincent McDwarf. Yeah,
Bobby
you've been
McDwarf
led
pants.
in by the guard who says, this guy's a message for you, sir. And Vince is looking at you with a raised eyebrow because he has no idea who you are.
So, riding high on my nat 20 and hoping that that will carry me as far as I can get. I think Perny is going to say, and he's ready to switch on the live feed microphone at a moment's notice. And if it's possible to use thaumaturgy or prestidigitation to mute the sound so that he's not aware he's on live recording, that he's broadcasting, I'm going to try that.
I would say you could do that with thaumaturgy.
And I'm going to say, Boab says they found out about the fix. They're going to talk unless we pay up. What should I tell him? What should we tell them? And then ready to turn the mic on.
Okay.
I've set him up to...
A bunch of things happen. First of all, like every dwarf in the box turns.
I'm saying it quietly to him. Like I'm doing this aside. Yeah, I'm not like yelling this out. I want him to feel. I want him to feel comfortable talking about it, as though I'm an insider. And
in that case, I will say the other dwarf dignitaries here don't take notice.
Okay. The other thing is, do I still have? Can I maintain the listening to surface thoughts? Is that something that I still have going, or is that?
That's a concentration spell, and you haven't cast another spell, other than the thaumaturgy, which is not concentration, so you can. So I would say, yeah. Actually, I'm pretty sure thaumaturgy is not concentration. Although, if it is, I would say you can just say you didn't bother doing, or you're not bothering to do the thaumaturgy effect.
No, I think I would rather that we're in our own little quiet bubble so that he feels comfortable talking and he doesn't hear the broadcast. I think that's more important than...
No, it's good. Thaumaturgy is not
Sweet.
Subtle
concentration. So you can keep the read thoughts going. You can keep it going until he makes a saving throw, basically, and or I believe it's a minute, but like you cast it just before coming over here, so it hasn't been a minute yet.
All right.
What do you want to know? Anything specific?
I want to know what his response to the things I'm saying are, and I want to see if I can get him really agitated and if he can just yell out anything incriminating into the microphone, that would be great. That is all I want from life.
Have failed a saving throw.
Nice.
So you dig in and immediately get, who is this person and why does he know about the fix? So internally in the brain, you are now 100% sure that Vincent McDuero knows what's going on here.
Yeah.
Quick question. If you're doing dwarf stone names, why wasn't he Vince McMason?
The joke is McMahon and he's McDwarf.
I know. McDwarf.
Yeah. Oh,
so.
Yeah. McDwarf is also a popular burger at McDragon's.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, gotta go for the McDwarf.
Yep.
Fair enough. Sorry, it just hit me.
So you also get a bit of worry about what. Sorry, what did you say exactly again? You said that.
I wrote this down. Oh, Boab says they found out about the fix. They're gonna talk unless we pay up. What should I tell him? What should we tell them?
So the first thing he's going to out of his mouth is going to be who did, who found out.
I'm gonna say the Langarian guy. I'm not gonna specify more than that.
No, I mean that's a good choice because he's the Langarians are well known, right?
And there's enough of them that if one of them's involved, then
yeah, it's a royal house.
Yeah.
I mean, although if you say the Langarian guy in Ravenfall, everyone knows you mean Gregory. Nope.
I'm giving him
bird visit.
I'm giving him room to fill it in with someone else if there's someone more relevant. But you know what? If it's Gregory, that's fine.
Well, interesting. Let me roll
Hmm.
how this happenstance is going to be. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 3 possible parties that I am rolling to see what certain involvement is. His eyes narrow. The reading thoughts. I better roll another saving throw for the thoughts. Ooh, nat 20. He is no longer. You are no longer getting his thoughts.
Okay.
He makes the saving throw.
All right. We're doing this without visuals. We're gonna land this.
So
ship
you
with
don't know what happened in his brain just now, but on his face he does this, and he says, he leans in and grabs your shoulder like he's deliberately trying to keep everyone else from hearing. He's like,
Okay, ready to turn the mic on.
He's like, what are you talking about? He's in on it.
In on what? I'm gonna turn on the mic now, I think.
Who are you?
Mic off. Boab calls me in to help with some of the magic stuff sometimes.
I need another persuasion roll.
Ooh.
This is a different person than the one you nat 20'd on, and I think I need a different situation here because he is suspicious by nature. So roll your persuasion. I am going to contest this with his insight.
Y'all keep Tromlining when Tromlin's not around.
It's a problem.
You're just such a big influence on your
that makes me really worried. Actually,
I'm a chip off the old block.
He wants to be like you.
Yeah.
God.
So dirty 20, but I think do I have to reroll it now before I find out the result, or can I wait and find out?
Sorry, reroll for what?
If I want to use inspiration.
Oh no, you can wait to find out whether or not it's successful and then decide.
Yeah. Okay.
It is not successful.
Oh no.
All right. We're doing my last inspiration.
Last inspiration.
Drain me dry. 17 makes it 24.
Pretty good.
Hey.
That is going to beat my roll.
Yes.
So he doesn't become like not suspicious, but he's going to buy that.
Yeah.
And he says, "Which Langarian? Can you point him out?"
But
come with me.
Okay.
And he taps one of the guards on the breastplate, like bang bang, in like an obvious "you're coming with me," and presses out the other side of the box away from Oogna.
Okay.
Which leads towards the stairs, the stone steps that have the passageway to the boxes. So you're now moving away from the main crowd and down towards the arena floor.
Okay. As we're walking, I'm going to say, like, what's going to happen if this gets out?
He's. I'm assuming you're still trying to like, kind of whisper to him, or like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm doing
everything. If
quietly.
not, he's like going to yank you closer.
Oh yeah. I'm doing everything hush hush. I'm happy to keep I might keep a cone of silence around us with thaumaturgy anyway, so no one can hear us except us. I don't know how much sound manipulation I can do, but
he will say, "Don't worry about it. That's my problem. Let's get to Boab and find out what the hell's going on."
Damn it! This is not as climaxes don't work like they do in Murder, She Wrote. But I'm going to see this through to the end. I'm going to do it.
So you don't currently have a hero point, but people were talking about spending a hero point on your behalf. So we could theoretically, make things happen in a certain way, but like you might want to wait for the ideal opportunity for that to occur.
Yeah, I'm still willing to spell that hero point because you kind of spent one to make us the announcers, and that was great.
Yep. And I mean, that's the reason why you even have this ability to like turn on and off the thing. Cause I'm basically saying you like the guy tripped and threw his wand and you've got the wand of enloudening. So you can turn on and off
We've got the mic.
yeah, you've got the mic. I also, depending on how you want to do things, I would be willing to take a black token as well. So you'll want to wait until you're at your ideal point. Meanwhile, Oogna, the two of them are now facing off again. The now much fresher, somewhat rested Basilisk, still has injuries, but not as anywhere near as bad as Thunderfist, who's just now gone through a separate combat with this mimic. And I can now reveal that the audience both selected foreign object for the way in which the match would be interfered with. And this game decided that the foreign object in question was going to be a disguised mimic. So thank you very much to the audience for your wonderful selections. The other options were a jar of gray ooze and an animated object steel chair. That was very close. That was second place.
That would have gotten my vote.
Good.
The mimic was much more classic D&D and also allowed the ruse to carry on because I figured at this point most of the audience hasn't caught on yet. So at this point you see the two of them like clash. So Thunderfist leaps off of the platform. He leaps much farther than normally, heavily kitted out dwarf should be able to do. You imagine maybe he has magic boots or something.
Right.
As was sort of indicated earlier, but I didn't want to make clear because Randy was like improving it, but it's canon. Basically, magic is only permitted in these fights in the form of gear. So if you have like +3 shield, that's fine. If you have like a hammer that returns to you when you throw it, that's fine. But no magic spells, no magic.
So my dwarven made armor is actually like a bonus in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that allows me to keep up.
You use it in the ring, right?
Yep.
So you imagine he has some sort of boots of jumping or something or whatever, but he like leaps across a significant distance. But Basilisk, who is like hanging from one of the poles, flies off directly towards him, and they meet with a massive clash in the midair with a huge roaring cheer from the crowd as he like tries to hammer her to the ground, but she, being more agile, manages to evade the blow and raking slash and go past him, and he falls to one of the other platforms. He doesn't land like neatly. He lands on his side with a stumble crash. A piece of armor flies off. The crowd is losing their minds because like their local girls actually
maybe beating the unbeatable Dwayne.
The undefeated Thunderfist.
Oogna is like doing that like little fretting dance where you kind of take a step in one direction and take a step in the other. Because not only has she like thrown Perny at this guy, and Perny's now off doing Perny things, and she can't come along, but also she's like, it would be really cool if we beat Dwayne, but also like this is not a clean fight. This is not what pit fighting's about. And I can't interfere. She's like wanting to run out onto the sands, but can't.
And then Basilisk, having done that, sensing that she's in a good position here, Thunderfist like heaves himself back up. He's still going. He's, the toughest of the tough. She basically, as he now pursues, she flees up to the higher platforms, running straight up. And you're baffled why she isn't pressing her advantage and is instead running away. I mean, that like the higher up they are, the more it's going to favor her over him.
Especially
but
with all that armor.
now that except that you know that he's wearing mithril armor and he's been like completely unimpeded by it,
And he can
and
jump.
you know that he's got this, like you now know he's got this jumping ability that he just pulled out.
I did point out the other mimicked or the other magic platforms to Oogna
Oh,
before
right. Does it look like she's going
if she's
towards
going
one of
for
them?
one.
She's running directly towards one of them.
Oh, she's in on this. Okay, the camera like zooms in on Oogna's face as there's that moment of realization where she's like looking up with admiration at Basilisk, trying to figure out what's going on, and then she just realizes and her face falls, and like there's like a little broken heart emoji floating behind her. Not like this. Not like this, Bass.
So bad for Oogna right now. I'm not gonna lie.
And as Basilisk is bounding up and passes that platform, because Basilisk, of course, is like leaping from like rope to rope and rope, doesn't need to worry about such things as like, surfaces
Gravity.
to stand on. As Basilisk passes that platform, and Thunderfist, who is now sort of doing his rapid climb as he did to get up into the platforms in the first place, gets to that platform and grabs the edge of it. A visible huge mouth opens in the bottom of the platform and roars at Thunderfist as the platform kind of like falls from where it's connected to the pole and kind of like wraps around him. And Basilisk, up above it, stops dead and has the most confused look on her face.
Huh.
At that point, a huge part of the crowd on the south side of the stadium comes flooding over the bleacher walls and just surges through the guards as people screaming flee the swarm of bees that is now spread throughout that entire side of the auditorium. And it is now just pandemonium on that side. Like people are now just down on the sands. The guards are like just bowled over as like people screaming and batting at their heads.
Please!
Oh, good. Okay, so there is
Please.
no official referee at a match like this, but
There's a handful of wizards,
yeah,
like usually apprentices, especially in Mud Hollow,
yeah,
who will kind of like magically try and like
yeah.
contain any issue.
But Oogna
And
knows that
there's
from training,
guards.
the trainers will often whistle to stop the match and be like, time, reset. So she is leaping up on whatever surface nearby is tallest, putting two fingers in her mouth and like doing an ear-piercing whistle and be like, time, cease fighting, as loud as she can. Trying to gain some control of this audience and match.
That same, just before you jump up and do that, Perny, you have been led to the sands, the bottom in the outer sort of trainer's ring outside the wall that separates the audience from what's going on, or at the foot of that wall, I should say. And some of the trainers there's a group of dwarves that were some of the ones that came, you recognize from the caravan that showed up yesterday with this afternoon with the dwarven contingent. And one of them, a kind of like short for a dwarf, even fat, skeevy looking blonde dwarf with like a wispy blonde beard. I am literally picturing Bobby the Brain Heenan, but as a dwarf.
I'm gonna say Bobby the Brain Penis.
I almost did.
Sorry, I just had a brain wave, which is they might speak more openly if I wasn't there. And
Okay.
he's now panicked and going to find out how there's a leak anyway. So I might just go invisible, like as we're running,
You
and then
have
follow
one
him.
spell slot left.
Yeah,
You can
I
do
think I'm
that.
gonna do that. I think I'm gonna go because
Okay.
he's gonna come in yelling at Boab about what the situation is, and they're gonna have to clarify at some point.
You let him get like a few steps
Yeah.
ahead, and then
vanish,
Disappear?
and I keep following him because I assume even if he doesn't see me, he still wants to.
Make me a stealth roll first, because you want to like not get noticed by him or the guard who's with you.
Yeah.
Who's at least somewhat keeping an eye on you. So like make me a stealth roll so you can sort of like sidestep into the crowd or into an alcove.
Can I wait until we're in like a dark area so I can do one with shadows?
Yep.
Okay.
At the foot of these walls, there's plenty of shadows. So.
Okay. 26.
You have defeated the guard. He does not notice. So you kind of fall back a half step from Vince, and kind of like wait till the guard is looking out at the match and disappear.
Okay. And then I'm going to keep following him as quietly as I can, because I assume that once they realize I'm missing, he's still going to go find out what the heck's going on with Boab, and they'll talk about it.
Well, in fact, he's not stopping. The guard kind of does like a double take, like, wait, where did the other guy go? But Vince is like I want to know what the hell's going on, and runs up to this little blonde dwarf and like tugs him on his sleeve till he like whirls him around, and is like, hey, what the hell's going on? This guy, and he points at nothing behind him. He goes, this guy says Langarian's double crossing us, and Boab is like first of all, like he looks where he's pointing and there's nobody there.
There's
and
the
he
guard.
like he's just the guard, and the guard is like several steps back now, like looking around for you. So it looks like Vince is pointing at the guard, who is
this guy,
and the guard is like, who's he talking about, or something like that. And so Boab is like, no, what? No, who said this? No, I don't know anything about this. Everything's going fine. Look. And as he says that and waves his hand, look, everything's going fine. That is the point at which the mimic platform, like full on, rips itself off of the pole and grapples Thunderfist with the giant obvious maw biting him. And the crowd like completely loses their mind as they're like, what the hell is happening? And on one side, they spill right out of the stands, fleeing from the bees. So he goes, no, everything's going fine, look. And then everything immediately becomes extremely not fine. What would you like to come out of this at this point?
I want one of them to say the words, like they're going to find out about the fix, or someone's going to know we can't. I want something where they're going to know it wasn't a clean fight. I want one of them to say those words so I can broadcast them to the stadium. That is my goal, and I'm willing to. My next trick in the sleeve, and I will exhaust every option. If I can use message, but ventriloquize one of the other ones. So like, let's imagine in a moment where McDuero is turned away to stare at the chaos. I message ventriloquize him saying, like, tell me who knows about the fix or something, so that to get Boab talking, or vice versa. I just want one of them to say something incriminating into the wire. You know, that is my.
Okay. I am.
I'll do the black token in a heartbeat.
I am willing. So okay,
I want this so bad.
If you take the black token,
yeah, you do.
And Alina, you said you were willing to.
I'm willing to spend a hero point on that.
Hero point, and you're about to do some like epic stop the match thing. So here is the order of events. So go ahead and mark the black token and take off your hero point. Here is the order of events. So the guy everything's going fine. Look, as everything goes entirely to shit. And at that moment, Oogna jumps up onto the edge of the dwarven royal box, like basically the backs of Oogna's calves are facing the dwarven ambassadors. The guards are kind of bowled aside, and Oogna like waves the arm, like puts the fingers in, and just the most piercing whistle that echoes all across, like you guys hear it down at the ship.
I'm not using thaumaturgy, but it sounds like I am.
No, but you might as well be.
Yeah.
She might be blowing some blood vessels anyway.
Yep. Yeah, maybe
I got big lungs.
Imagine the bees are stopping. Like, what the fuck is
What the fuck was
happening?
that?
I imagine that Perny had used the mic to stop his own high volume, but had never bothered on Oogna because Oogna wasn't saying anything.
Yeah.
So like you're still amplified when you do this.
Good.
They hear you in the docks.
Yeah.
And then you go,
Time out! Time out, everybody!
Something's wrong. Stop the fight. Reset.
Places.
And just so that happens as the guy was like gesturing.
Everything's fine.
Vincent like goes white, seeing, all of this, and says, just as you point the wand at him, so it comes out nice and loud. I thought you trained those damn things so that they'd stay in their shape change forms. It's not supposed to do that. And you thaumaturgically depress the sound of his voice here, so it's not immediately evident to him that his voice is booming out as he says this. But of course, immediately in the silence following Oogna's shout and whistle, that is what is heard throughout the stadium from Vince McDwarf, I mean. Oh no, my thinly veiled reference.
I will hear that echoing around the stadium and like turn with just this most like betrayed look on my face to look at Vince.
As do like all of the dwarves in the dwarf box. Basilisk hanging from the top of the highest pole above the platform that's attacking Thunderfist, like flames on the sides of her face, like if a look could kill, McDwaro would be dead where he stands.
I am thaumaturgying crickets in the background. It's awkward silence.
A tumbleweed.
Crickets and bees.
Oh my god.
And Basilisk drops from the very, very top, from the top rope even, and lands on the attacking mimic blades first, and comes to Thunderfist's assistance.
Oh, yay.
Good.
And is attacking the mimic. At this point, I will point out a third mimic, the rope bridge, now detaches itself from one side and rises up like a giant snake, except it's a rope bridge. And a big, again, between two slats of wood, it opens like a big rubbery maw of
Can
fangs.
I run in there and punch it in the face?
Yes, you can.
Good. I would like to punch it in the face.
Can I run in and drop invisibility and start doing commentary on... And that's it. You've heard it straight from the mouth of Vincent McDwarf.
Yes.
Vincent McDwarf, that he fixed the fight and added mimics to the field. But what's this? Oogna Bone Crusher, fresh off a promise not to interfere, is getting involved, and all the fighters are working together to defeat the Mimic Menace.
1,000%.
The mighty Mimic Menace.
This is occurring.
Good.
Okay, so I will leave that for initiative. But while that was going on, meanwhile,
a much calmer situation for once.
Well, it was, but meanwhile, as you have snuck your way over to the door of the great cabin and are like looking through the crack and listening to see if you can find any sign of Fettid. Fettid at the same time had snuck to the front of the quarterdeck, so he's right above you, hiding amongst the ropes, looking at what's going on the decks. And you were looking for valuables. And as I said, there's no obvious treasures or anything like that, but there is a lot of food. There's a lot of elvish food being unpacked and stowed, and some of it is in fact being stacked and unpacked and stowed in the direct vicinity of right below you, next to the doors of the great cabin on the quarterdeck. And
the temptation is strong.
Yeah. Well, what are you thinking, temptation-wise?
Oh,
I'll right, I'm just hooking us up with some inspirations because we rolled over.
Oh, another rollover. Excellent.
Heck yeah.
Oh, thanks, Probable Futures.
Heck yeah.
You're going nuts here.
Food, but I don't.
I will remind you that your swarm allows you to do Mage Hand.
Yeah, that's true. Can I try and detect Randy again? I know it's going to be very difficult, but I want to at least give it a shot.
Yep.
Detect Randy spell.
Yeah.
Detect Randy.
Detect Tromlin.
Oh, well, a 3 isn't going to do it, so never mind. Yeah, I want to try and use some bugs to grab a little bit of a snack for myself.
Yep. They will grab some lambus bread.
All right.
So I already made this roll, so this is not because you did that.
Mhm.
But I have already made a roll to perceive through your stealth roll.
Okay.
So as you're doing that, and a parcel of like elvish bread wrapped in leaves is making its way up, carried by an insect swarm to your hiding place. One of the guards that was that's standing generally nearby, because there are guards at the door to the great cabin, glances up in your direction and goes, "Hey, who is that?" In Elvish, so you probably are like, "Oh no, they found me" or something. I'm pretty sure you don't speak Elvish. I'm double checking.
I definitely do not speak Elvish.
No. Common, undercommon, and draconic.
Yep. All right. Well, I am going to command my swarm to throw the food in this guy's face, and then I'm gonna
they'll even unwrap the leaves, so it's more like a pie.
Yep. Perfect.
Full on. Yep. Pie in the face.
Good.
Summon Stooge.
You run back across the deck going. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yep.
But he's like, he says something in Elvish, and a bunch of the other guards are kind of looking in your direction, and then he gets a face full of pie, of Elvish pie, lambus pie, and you bolt. Tromlin, you witnessed all of this as you were peering through the crack of the door, and you hear the shouts now in Elvish. You understand what's being said, which is just more or less some kind of rat thing. An infestation.
I mean, does it look like he's gonna get away?
You have no idea. They're starting to like run towards this direction. There's stairs. There's stairs to the quarterdeck on either side of the door.
I trust him to be able to know to jump over the fucking bit and get off it. Yeah, I trust him. If I hear screams of agony, I'll come out. I have a mission.
I'm wiggly. I have a ton of acrobatic skill. I'll probably.
Yeah, I'm not worried about you. I think you can get away from them. I'm going to. I'm trying to think. Where would the most important documents be? Would that be in the captain's quarters?
Ooh.
I mean, this is the captain. Like, this is the great cabin. So, like, whoever the most important people on this boat, this is where they live.
All right, I need.
And you imagine that pair over there getting like pampered and harp music played for them while they discuss their diplomatic mission. Probably are those people. If there is likely like a captain who, like an actual person who runs the boat, who has probably been demoted to a less important cabin because of the guests that are being carried here. What are you looking for in particular?
Documents, like a safe, anything. Like
there's a great by the chair where you took the cloak. There's a big, huge desk, very like a low desk built clearly into the ship, and it has like drawers in it.
All right. So first, I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duck behind the desk. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna put the cloak on.
You are now wearing an Elven Cloak. You now have advantage in all stealth checks.
Are you serious?
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Fuck. Okay.
I'd wondered if that was an Elven Cloak.
And then I'm going to
this gray cloak that you stole from the elves is in fact an Elven Cloak.
I am then going to
Except it's the one that they gave to Frodo, so it's actually like only to your waist. So when you wear it, like you basically just become legs.
Well, that's fine. I just immediately activate
half
my
a goat
tattoo into a hobbit. So actually, I'm going to activate my tattoo as well and try to become the most nondescript halfling. No, human you can imagine. I want to be
disguise.
Yeah, I want to be like so. Yeah, never know what's going to happen.
I mean, do you want to disguise yourself as an elf? Like there are elves on the ship, no humans.
Sure, I guess we'll do that. Yeah, but like a nondescript, like random elf. Like, why the fuck is this guy going?
Like one of the crew members that you saw wandering around on deck earlier. Yep.
I assume I can't like be a specific crew member, so.
You can, because you have the skills to disguise yourself. So you can use the spell, but you would have to make a roll for how close to the person you're trying to impersonate.
Would it be a deception check?
It would indeed.
My +10 deception?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. I think that's exactly what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to sow some more chaos today.
Good choice of God.
All right. Oh, he's a good one. Ooh, that's not too bad at all. That would be 29.
You rolled a 19.
Oh my God.
10, 29. Excellent. Yeah, you're pretty convincingly magic tattoo disguise yourself into that particular elf. Let's say his name is Gary.
Garicus. And then I'm going to attempt to
Garethiel.
I'm going to attempt as silently as possible to go through all the desks. See, there has to be something, like looking for false bottoms, whatever I can.
So what's about to happen is, because of the shouts on deck, the couple that are having their meal jump up and run over towards the door to go see what's going on. You can, if you want to, so I'm going to have to make a roll for them to possibly spot you, because you're just sort of hidden amongst the cushions and so forth. Or if you want, like, so I just want to know what your strategy is here, because you could either continue to be stealthing amongst the the clutter.
Yeah.
You could full on turn invisible for briefly using your whatever it is, your divine.
I mean, I've got a 29.
Your invoke. Is it invoke duplicity? Oh, sorry. No, that makes like a mirror version of you. Or you could use your disguise to and brazen it out. I don't know which strategy you're sort of going for here.
I would rather at first do my best to stealth, to hide.
So make me a contested stealth roll here.
I assume I still don't have the benefits that the +10 that was given by my friend.
I don't see why you wouldn't, because you're still within range of him, and unless he stopped concentrating, it's still going.
So I have a +19 and advantage.
Ooh.
Because remember, this is a spell that isn't like concentration for a minute; it's like concentration for like 6 hours. So.
Okay. So 34 is their target.
That ain't gonna make it. I'm penalizing you because of the situation, the close quarters and so forth, but not enough. They have 23, and even if I give you -10, you still beat that. So you are indeed able to basically duck under the desk as they jump up and run that way, and then they pass you and go to the door, and you slip out, now behind them, and start quietly going through the desk.
And the harp player is still just going to town.
Oh yeah, the harp player is like there's you would, if it wasn't elves, you would assume the harp player was stoned, but that elves are just like that. Like this elf is just an elf harp player doing like I am perceiving time differently because I am an elf. Ooh.
He's just tripping out on the harp.
Yeah. You're like, this is the thing where like an elf will go, I'm playing the harp. So, maybe in 3 years I'll look up and be like, oh, I guess I've been here for a while, and brush the dust off. And so you quickly are able to get into this desk. Now, the a couple of the major drawers are locked. But I do believe you have thieves' tools.
I do believe I do as well.
Yes, you do. So you could do something about that if you so choose.
I would like to do something about that.
Okay. So this is going to be a dex bonus plus your proficiency. So that's a total of +7.
All right.
Because you are in fact proficient with thieves' tools.
22.
That is sufficient. So you spend a little time here playing along with the lock, and you get the desk unlocked. So while that's going on, since that's going to take a minute, I am going to go into initiative with everybody else, including Fettid. So Fettid, I'm going to be doing your initiative for both you and your bees.
The bees.
Okay.
Just roll once, and we'll use the same for both.
Ugh.
Sure.
Okay.
7 for Oogna.
7 for Oogna.
Oh.
I rolled real low.
Yeah, me too.
Basilisk has an 18 just on the roll.
I'm not surprised.
Yikes.
She's got to have like a plus
I think
bajillion.
she's going to be going first.
Yeah.
I rolled an 8. So that is an 8 for me and an 8 for the bees.
Hey.
Like a total of 8?
Yeah, 8 total.
That's with your
I
plus
rolled real
5.
bad.
The bees
Okay.
go before me, so.
I am going to give the players inspiration on this initiative roll, simply because you just dropped a hero
bunch of
point
hero
setting
points.
this up.
All right.
So I think I want
Hey,
to see
18, much
I'm just
better.
going to give you a second roll.
Slightly
17.
better. 14.
So 17 was your high roll for Copernicus, 18 for Oogna, and 14.
Yep.
Excellent. So order of events here is going to be Basilisk, then Oogna, then Copernicus, then Thunderfist, then Fettid, and then everybody else. All right. So first of all, Basilisk, as I said, has dropped claws first onto the mimic platform and is like tearing chunks out of it as it grapples Thunderfist. Oogna, you're next.
All right. Does it look like she's going to be able to deal with this thing on her own?
Maybe you've never fought a platform before, so you're
That's
not sure
true.
how tough they are. Both Basilisk and Thunderfist are wounded. They've been having a fairly long fight already. But there's also another mimic that just freshly
Well, and I
entered
already
the
said I
battle.
was going to go for that one, so I'll continue to go for it. I'm going to run in there and try to punch this thing in the face before it can go after either of them. I also assume it's lower on the platforms than they are, so I'll like run over, jump off of something, jump up, and like just smash it in the face.
Athletics check. Make the athletics check for how you can like swing on a rope or otherwise get up there quite quickly.
I was going to say, I rolled pretty bad, but I forgot I have a +11. So
yeah, you have expertise.
That's a 21. Because I rolled only 9.
So, well, then it's a 20.
Or sorry, 20, yeah.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
So yeah, you like rush the central setup in the Eyrie here and leap on at a rope so that your momentum carries you up to the second, the sort of the second level of platforms, which is where this rope bridge thing is now standing. Picture it's a rope bridge that, like all flexible, but it's somehow standing upright on one end using like the corners like little feet.
I'm just imagining it like
undulating
Trogdor style.
Like
it's like an S.
Snake. Yeah.
It's a more different S.
Excellent. And you like launch yourself into this thing. So make an attack roll.
Excellent. I am somewhat good at those. Except I rolled a 5, so not great.
What is your total?
13.
That'll do it.
Okay.
Mimics only have an armor class of 12.
Nice.
So yeah, you slam yourself into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me an unarmed attack damage, which for you is D4. This is like your whole body, so use the D6.
Okay.
Because it's like a two-handed attack.
That's a 4. which isn't great, but...
I mean, you didn't add your damage bonus?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Or did you?
I did not add my damage bonus. What is my damage bonus?
Your strength.
My strength, right.
Strength.
So
This
plus
is definitely a strength attack.
So 9.
9 damage?
Yep.
Okay. So you smash into the thing. Is that all you're doing? Because you do have a lot of maneuvers.
I do have some maneuvers, and I am going to use them.
Okay. Which maneuver are you using here?
I could do my pushing attack or my throw. Get this thing off of here.
Yeah, either one. You could definitely move it so that it is no longer on the platforms and falls down to the level below.
Thematically, I do want to punch it so hard it goes flying.
Mm.
Oh.
So I'm
Briefly
spending
lost Randy, but he is back.
1 maneuver point on that.
The chat points out consummate V's.
Consummate V's.
Which is the best kind of V's.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you extra damage from your
Yippers.
maneuver die?
D8.
And I believe I have to make a strength saving throw.
Believe you do.
I'm pretty sure I failed it.
Ooh,
7.
that's a 7.
What's your... This would be your... I'm pretty sure this is based on like your what would be a spell attack thing. So I'm pretty sure it's failed.
Yeah.
I have like a +2, but that ain't gonna do it.
So I rolled a 7 on my D8, which is very nice.
So that's 16 damage
16.
total.
Yep.
And it has indeed plunged off the platform, and it takes an additional 4 damage from the fall. So it is now on the ground below. You can follow it if you wish. You can sort of like tackle it off if you want to be down there as well.
No, but I have another attack, and I would like to spend my commanding presence to scare the shit out of it.
Ooh. I don't think you can do that as a second attack.
Oh, I don't think
it
so.
has to be like,
with an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an action, it's
Cool.
an attack.
Then I do not use my second attack, and I think I've already used my movement getting here. So that is me. I'm done.
You can still use your second attack. Like I said, you can attack it. Like you can drop on it, whatever you want. It's up to you. Do you wish to remain up here while it is down there, or do you wish to follow it and continue to hit it?
Can I throw my hammer at it?
You can. I thought you had a throwing weapon as well.
I have a boot knife. Or actually I have my weighted net, but I'm assuming it would not work for a bridge. It's sort of a one-person thing.
It should be fine.
Okay, I'm going to try my net on it then.
It's still considered a medium creature.
Oh, okay. It's made for medium creatures, so I will drop my net on this thing.
I'm double checking. Yeah, it's medium.
Cool.
Monstrosity. Sure. So make the attack roll for your net.
Roll.
This is a ranged attack roll.
Mm-hmm.
So off of your dex.
So that's a 15.
So that's with your +6?
Not with the +6.
So what did you roll with your +6?
I rolled a 13 with my dex bonus of 2 for 15.
No, your net attack. You get your attack bonus.
Oh, that's right.
Not just your dex bonus.
Right. So another 6.
So 13
19.
is what you rolled dry on the dice. So 19.
Yeah.
All right.
19
will hit. And
that's a special.
I don't think so. They give disadvantage to escape their grapples, but they don't get any kind of. Yeah, they get a bunch of bonuses against grappling other things, but nothing to avoid grapple. So
and this one is a dwarven made net, which is actually +1 to hit, so I got even one higher than that. It's got 10 hit points to try and break free from, so they actually have to do damage to it to rip free.
Yeah. Well, they can escape the grapple, but that takes their attacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have tangled it up in your net. You threw a net at a bridge, and the bridge is now be-netted. Okay, next up is Copernicus.
So I'm torn between just doing the running commentary. I think that this fight is meant to be a spectacle, and I don't need to be a part of that. Or the other thing that occurred to me, so I can use my thaumaturgy, like my new blood magic stuff, to sacrifice some health and get an extra spell slot. Is that right? Do I remember that right?
I don't recall. I'm pulling up your sheet just to double check. I don't think so. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was one of the options. Because the thing is, there is one of the main ways that people use blood magic feats is to get spell slots, but that's not great for warlocks because their whole thing is that their spell slots are different than other casters.
I thought
No, you can use it to beef up spells.
Oh, to higher level.
You can increase spell targets with your blood casting.
No additional.
Not get additional spell slots.
Okay. I was going to Phantasmal Force Langarian into a confrontation with McDuero to have him yell some more incriminating things that would incriminate Langarian too, but I think instead I'll just fold that revelation into my running color commentary as I continue to trump up what's going on. So yeah, no attacks. I'm not going to do anything, but I am going to keep.
Okay.
The arena is abuzz with a new development. Vince McDuero fixed the fight, and Langarian was in on it. Ooh, that's gotta sting. I could drone on about the importance of fighting fair, but talking to this dwarf about integrity is surely a wasp cause. I think it's about 6 seconds.
Wow.
Good.
Okay. Excellent.
I guess I'll keep a counter spell ready in case there's any more shenanigans.
I don't think you have any slots left.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, never mind. I'm out of juice.
You can still cast all of your cantrips, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're out of slot. And then there's the specific uses of blood magic are still available to you as well. Right. Okay. So that is Copernicus. So basically, we can assume you're holding an action.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Thunderfist is doing some significant damage to the mimic that is grappling him, but he is not able to escape the grapple. Next up, Fettid. So let's start with the swarm of bees.
Yeah.
Now you commanded that swarm of bees to sting everybody, basically.
I did.
But I am happy to allow you to give it some further direction here. They follow your verbal commands, so obviously you can't give it any new verbal commands. But within the realm of sting everybody, you can certainly decide what it does.
These bees have decided that they don't like dwarves.
Sounds good.
Some racist bees.
Yep. Racist bees is the worst kind.
Absolutely.
So would you like to specifically send these bees after someone? Because I would allow you to spend an inspiration to do that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it would be really funny to send them after McDwarf.
Excellent. So that's not enough for a hero point, but spend an inspiration and go for it. You can specifically target your bees. So you can go ahead and make a hit roll.
All right.
This is a bite attack. They attack with a +3 to hit.
That is a 20 then.
Nice. Dirty 20?
Yep.
Okay, they do 4d4 damage when they swarm a single target.
Nice. D4, that's 3, 5, 7, 8 damage.
Nice. So, filled with Fettid's vengeance, the swarm of bees goes straight for McDuero and starts stinging him mercilessly. Now we go back to actual Fettid. So having been spotted and thrown a pie in the face of one of the guards, the other guards are all running towards the quarterdeck where you are. What do you want to do?
I'm just gonna I'm gonna book it. I want to get out of here. So what is the closest point of egress?
So you're basically on the quarterdeck. So the front of the quarterdeck faces the rest of the boat. That's where they're coming towards. There's stairs on both sides of the door that lead up there. The other 3 sides of the quarterdeck are just railings, one of which leads to the quay, which of course has guards on it. So you would then be on the quay, but there would be guards between you and the land.
Mhm.
The other two sides just into the open ocean, right? That's where you came up.
Mhm.
Oh
So
no, Fettid's gonna have to
there's
take a bath.
Oh,
It's ocean. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
yeah.
it's full of filth.
It's full of seagull shit, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like a medievally kind of town. This is where all the sewage goes.
Hmm? He's gonna
Are
become
there
more
any-
fetid.
Are there any like mooring ropes that I could run down that might get me past the guards on the quay?
That's a very good question. Let's see.
Hmm.
Yes. You
All
could do an acrobatic-y thing. Now, the only problem with that is that those ropes are tied up near the front of the ship. So
Okay.
you'd have to get around towards the front of the ship. But there's a whole lot of ropes going up
For swinging.
into the
I
rigging
think
that
I
lead in
think
that
it's
direction.
I think it's time to be a weird little monkey lizard and go a climbing.
Excellent. So you grab a backstay, like one of these ropes that comes down to hold the sails up,
Mhm.
and head on up. Make me an acrobatics.
Acrobatics. Oh, that's very bad. Let's see. That is a very bad is still a 10, so maybe that's good enough.
That's good enough for you to climb the ropes.
Yeah.
Like people do this all the time. It's how sailors
Sure.
run the ships. They have to climb up these things. So you skitter your way up the rope.
Yep.
Next up is everybody else. So the guards that were chasing you will now see that you're heading into the rigging and begin running up other ropes. Because they're elves, though, they're like full on like running any rope that's got like a slope to it. They'll like run it. It's like all Legolas and shit. As they also swarm their way up into the rigging, and you're like, "Whoa, fuck! This was not what I anticipated. I'm supposed to be the small, nimble one."
It's
But they're
fine.
just pursuing for now. But they are closing with you. And so we go back to the top of the batting order. Basilisk continues to help Thunderfist eviscerate this grappling mimic. And I'll just call them taken care of. Oogna,
All right.
you are standing on a platform on the first sort of level of the Erie, and below you in the sands is the mimic bridge that you have thrown off, and it's got a net over it.
I am going up. I'm slowing that thing down for a minute. I'm gonna go up and help out Basilisk.
Okay, you're
And
going over
Dwayne.
to that one.
Yep.
Yeah, you like grab a rope and swing across to the platform they're on, where they're tasseling with this thing. You wanna take a swing at it,
I do. Let's take my attacks.
or do you want to attempt to like get Thunderfist out of this?
Actually,
'Cause
yeah.
you could attempt to grapple the thing.
That is what I do best. Let's have a grapple off.
Go for it. Make your grapple attack. I will roll its resistance.
Sweet.
I have rolled extreme garbage.
Well, so have I. With my bonuses, that's a 15.
It's a lot better than me.
All right.
I
Only rolled a
rolled
7.
2, and I do not have a plus 13. And you've beaten its armor class, so you
Yeah.
easily
Grab it.
grapple the thing.
Yeah.
And what do you want to do with it?
Well, I've got a couple things I can do when I'm grappling.
Mm-hmm.
Rub its belly. Rub its
Who's
snoot.
a good mimic? Who's a
Boop the
good
snoot.
mimic?
Boop the snoot.
Boop it on the snoot.
Have a snoot?
It can.
That's true.
Actually, you know what? This is good. I have now made an attack, so I can do my commanding presence, and I'm gonna be like shaking it and kind of go, spit it out, drop it, drop it.
Bad.
You're gonna try. I'm all over this. All right.
Roll to
Is
discipline.
this the?
This is the one that's eating Dwayne.
Oh, so combat maneuver, commanding presence. So
Yes.
the actual action you're doing then is
Yes.
menacing.
Yep.
All
But
right,
the
so roll your
menacing
intimidate.
allows me to do a performance persuasion or intimidation, and I
Yeah. So make it intimidate.
good.
You have.
Oh God, I'm spending an inspiration on that. That was awful.
Okay, don't forget you to add your combat maneuver die to the roll.
I suppose that's true. I will roll that first, but I still only rolled like a 5. Nope. Spending an inspiration.
Okay, so you've got a +8 intimidation. What did you roll on your D8?
Just a 3.
You've got 11.
Yep.
Now, so spend your inspiration, do your reroll.
Mm-hmm. That's better. That's a 9. And then I also reroll my D8?
No,
Okay.
you keep that roll. It's a separate thing. So
Gotcha.
that gives you a total of 20, a dirty 20.
20. Dirty 20s. Much
So
better.
I will roll its response to that, which I believe is, what do you roll against? Insight. That's probably not going to be great.
I don't think it's got a great insight.
It's got a wisdom of 13. It actually has like a +1 to insight.
That's better than me.
Well, I rolled
That's
quite
why
well.
I have
rolled
Tromlin.
a 14, which is +1 is a 15, which is still not good enough.
Yeah, there you go.
So you are frightening. This,
spit it out. Drop
this
it.
mimic
Drop
is now
it.
frightened of you. Yeah, you actually, yeah, sure. I'm going to go for it. You do it. You're like, spit it out, panning it on the back.
Like ripping, trying to get its little teeth open.
Yeah, and it goes, and drops Thunderfist.
Imagine you could put like a pill in its mouth to swallow.
You
Try to
rub
pervert
peanut butter on
heartworm.
it first.
Mm-hmm. You haven't had your shots.
Can you imagine a mimic on a leash?
Look, spay and neuter your mimics, everybody.
Amorphous blob that sometimes turns into a toilet.
And then you don't know which end you're grabbing.
Yeah, when you put the pill in, you might. Yeah. Anyway.
No, it's a suppository. It's fine.
Okay.
Don't like that.
So speaking of mimic suppositories, no. Copernicus, you're up. You had a held action which you can still use if you wish.
No, that's okay. Everyone is in their right place doing their right thing.
Yep. Bees are swarming Vince.
Good.
Oh, perfect. Beautiful.
Boab is like standing nearby going like trying to slap at them ineffectually. You see Oogna has like knocked one of the mimics down and thrown a net over it and is grappled the other one off of Thunderfist.
Okay, so sorry, but one more summary of where the mimics are right now and what form they're in, like physically what format the mimic appears to be.
So there were 3 mimics originally. The net one has been killed.
Okay.
The platform one is being grappled by Oogna, and the bridge one is on the ground with a net over it, but it is getting back up.
Okay. And it was Oogna who most recently knocked down the bridge one.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All this only matters for which puns I'm going to use when. Okay.
Good.
Okay. So that'll keep the commentary going. Normally the Bone Crusher is not known for attacking inanimate objects, but it seems this mimic has gone a bridge too far. Ooh. Do I hear the final chorus playing? Because I think this bridge is just about finished. And speaking of finished, remember earlier when Thunderfist got attacked by a ropes course? Well, I think it's Vince McDwaro who's about to be brought down by rigging. And that's it for me for now. I've got another round's worth, and then I'm basically tapped.
Can you do psychic damage to people?
I mean, you do have a mind splinter cantrip if you would like to back that up on anybody.
No, I don't. I feel like this is now the fight spectacle, and I feel like the rules should be respected, and the actual pit fighters should be allowed to do their trouncing. I
will say though that as you're sort of watching this, because the next in a moment later, other people go. Boab is going to make a break for it.
Oh,
seeing what's going on with his boss.
You got a whole person?
And hearing your commentary, he's going to flee.
I'll do some. What do I think I can stun him with my regular cantrip blood magic.
Temporarily, but you could also do the mind splinter and try and get him all confused.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you have the maddening option for the mind splinter.
Right. Oh, you know what? I could pile that on with the stunning one. So if one doesn't hit, the other one does.
Yep.
And I'll make it a distracting intrusion too. While we're Just pile on the.
That's good because distracting intrusion messes with the saving throw against the mind splinter.
Yeah.
So bonus action first. You're hitting him with a distracting intrusion. I'll make his
Yeah.
wisdom save. He has failed that wisdom save.
So he
now has disadvantage on the saving throws to your next turn.
Nice.
Then you're going to take the blood magic damage twice.
Twice to do a maddening, agonizing mind splinter.
Excellent. So the base damage of mind splinter is, I forget. So I'm just quickly pulling it up. It is 1d6. No, sorry, 2d6 psychic damage, and penalizes their saving throws further. So go ahead and roll your 2d6 psychic damage.
I don't have to roll to hit with that.
No.
Okay.
It is. Oh, sorry. He gets a save against it.
Okay.
Intelligence saving throw, but he has disadvantage because of your distracting intrusions.
Yeah.
So he has to take the 7, which ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
Now do 2d6 psychic damage.
And agonizing adds 4 damage as well.
Yeah. So 2d6 plus 4.
Okay, so then that's 10 damage.
Okay, and he now has to make a saving throw versus the maddening with disadvantage. And please roll a d4. That is the additional penalty that you're giving him to this saving throw.
Good boy,
1.
Mary.
Oh my goodness.
A good boy.
Is that a grape?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay, everybody, let's pause our game for a while because we got to watch a bird eat
There's
a
a
grape.
bird.
Important.
It's very important.
It is very, very important. Aw. What did you roll on your d4?
Oh, just 1.
Okay, so he has a disadvantage and -1 to save. So the low roll is like 5. And that means that he is got the insane condition.
Cool.
And now he needs to make a con save versus
Go back.
stunned.
How about
Oh,
you,
right,
Pip?
from the agonizing?
Step up.
Yeah. And I take 10.
Step up. Oh, good boy, Pippin.
I thought
Good
the agonizing
boy.
just did damage. I think I'm thinking of a different one.
Yeah. No, touch adds. Oh, it's touch. So then I have to use another ring of sorcery. I have to use a ring of sorcery charge.
No. Sorry, so agonizing is specific to your chill touch. That's why I got it messed up.
Okay,
so
I can only have done the one thing. Okay.
So drop the 4 damage off of it. So you did 6 damage.
6 damage.
But you've got maddening. He has now got the insane feature. Takes 6 psychic damage and is insane for the duration.
Does he also see Egypt Dilbert?
No, because he wasn't
That was
driven insane by trying to look into the bucket. He's
Oh,
been
good.
driven insane by a splinter of darkness in his brain.
Yeah, that's a 9 chickweed lane level of insanity.
It's just legs everywhere. And
The leg beast.
And these weirdly adult-looking
children,
infants watching.
Yeah, I'm just gonna theme this all as comics stuff. So yeah, he just sees like everything is legs. Like all of the people in the audience, there's just legs sticking up out of the stands. Like you can't see any of the rest of the bodies of the people. All you see is these like cartoonishly extra long legs.
Weirdly
he looks down
airbrushed.
And all he sees his legs. And he just starts screaming, legs! Legs!
You know, this is gonna sound cruel, and I don't mean it to be to the artist Chickweed Lane.
Oh no!
But no one ever told me one of the after effects of a stroke is you cannot hide your sexual fetishes from the public. Oh, now I'm very terrified to have a stroke.
Well, did you see that he got kicked off of his last remaining newspaper for being racist?
Oh, good.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah, he was doing a story set with a flashback back in World War II.
Oh, right.
And he used a slur against Japanese people to describe an airplane.
Oh, good. This is after his storyline where the gay guy suddenly got not gay because there was a lady with legs.
Yep.
Never mind. You know what? Fuck him. Fuck his comment.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yep.
Like, fuck that guy.
Yep. Screw that guy.
So are you saying it's not in newspapers anymore?
It is no longer syndicated anywhere except online, I believe.
Wow.
What will Dave Willis do now?
Still on Go Comics, though.
Dave will still drive us fucking nuts. He'll find an archive.
He'll pick a different comic to.
Dave
we'll always have Mary Worth.
It's true.
Okay.
Mary, you want some too? Come here.
So,
come here, buddy. Yeah, that was Pippin.
Pippin got a good feed.
Pippin got a real good feed.
So many bird butts.
Half a grape. That's like.
Okay, so while you are
head.
grappling and holding and restraining this, and thus granting advantage to foes.
Yep.
Thunderfist is going to pick himself up and does himself up. Hold out both of his hands so that his two hammers come flying back to him from opposite ends of the arena, and smash the shit out of this mimic that looks like a platform.
Excellent.
He gets advantage on both attacks.
Would you say
it's being grappled.
Deplatformed?
It's about to be deplatformed. Jeff wins.
Yeah.
Jeff wins Dungeons and Dragons. Excellent. Well, one of those rolls with advantage got me a natural 20. So both hammers hit. One is
critted.
A crit.
Critically deplatformed.
Yeah, he is going to critically deplatform this mimic. You're like holding the mimic at one end, and he hits the other end, which turns out to be something like a head as it like transforms back into I don't remember if mimics are supposed to turn back into whatever this one does. He hit it so hard he deplatformed it. It turns into an amorphous blob with a mouth and tentacles. Yeah.
You want some too, Mary?
And the crowd that isn't screaming about everything else screams about
good boy,
the monster that suddenly becomes visible. And we're back to Fettid. Would you like to do more attacks with your bees?
Yeah, I would. Are they still?
They are still up and going. They have been attacked once by the guard and by Vince, but they are resistant to all physical damage because they're a swarm. So they get damage resistance against bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing.
I rolled a 16, so they're probably going to hit again.
That will hit.
All right. So you said 4d4?
Yep. They are still, once they are dropped to half their hit points, they do 2d4.
Fine.
But they are not there yet.
12 damage.
Ooh.
Nice. He is getting stung all up. He doesn't like it very much. And meanwhile, back with actual Fettid, you are now running up into the rigging, and Elven Guard the one that was closest in pursuit, has caught up with you or cut you off, basically, and you are now hanging in the ropes. You're now facing off with this Elven Guard who has pulled out his weapon and is going into swashbuckle mode as we are in the rigging of a ship. And he goes, "Hold, strange rat thing," in kind of broken common.
I will not hold. I will continue to run.
He is going to fight with you then. Do you want to do a full-on dash action and try and get as far away as you can?
Yes.
That'll give him an attack of opportunity, but it'll double your movement.
Okay, I'm dodgy and I haven't been hit at all.
So make me an acrobatics check to see how well you're able to, how much of your movement you can use basically in the ropes.
That is a 27.
Okay, excellent. So you're moving very rapidly through the ropes and getting your full movement doubled. You are moving very rapidly. So he basically gets like one swipe at you as you more or less duck between his legs and like head off in that direction. So he has hit you for max damage, but that's still only 11.
Okay, I can survive that.
And you basically move like With that acrobatics check, I'm tempted to just give you your full movement. So that's 70 with your 35 speed doubled for a dash action. So you're like basically you like start swinging from rope to rope and just like super rapidly
That's very
make your way to the
Quaggly,
other end of the ship.
where it's like, hey, you stop, and you just scamper.
No. Yeah.
You go between his legs and scamper. He tries to grab you and like flips over. That classic cartoon thing as you go between his legs. Okay, so everybody else. So the elves are like, trying to run after you, but like they're running where you were, and some are trying to cut you off, and it's just pandemonium out here. Tromlin, the diplomats that were in here have run to the door and thrown the door open. I'm like, what's going on out here? The guards are like saying, no, stay. Some kind of rat things have invaded the ship. Stupid rat creatures.
Actually, when they're clear the door, I'm gonna gently close and lock and keep going through the desk.
I was gonna say
they're not actually coming. They're not actually coming right out. They're just standing in the doorway because the guard isn't letting them. The guard doesn't want them to get into harm's way, so he's not actually letting them leave.
Okay. I'm going to again continue going through the desk then. See if I can find anything like that. Now I know I have my linguist thing, so
you find you don't really want to spend the time to like read through everything because you just don't have that kind of time. But you quickly, when you open up the desks, the desk drawers, when you get the doors unlocked, and it's that whole thing with these desks. You get the middle one unlocked, and having done that, now the other ones can open.
Yeah.
So you quickly find a small amount of like jewelry stashed away that you're like, yoink, like a little gold inkhorn and quills, some blank parchments, like so obviously like a diplomat's pack. But in the central long drawer, there's a whole sheaf of documents, and you can more or less grab the whole thing if you want.
Roll that up, put it in a tube, put it in my pack.
Excellent.
And then I will attempt to grab some of those textiles and get the fuck out because I have a feeling I can't explore the rest of the ship. What's going on above me?
No, but you can actually grabbing the textiles is because they're all kind of like hung here is a little bit of an obvious move. But you have more spell slots. You can Misty Step again, so you could literally just be like, when I'm ready to leave, grab, yoink. And then poof out.
That's kind of my intention.
All right, sounds good to me. Meanwhile, more attacks on the bugs, the guard and the dwarf. And
you teach those
some
bees.
Other random, they're like slapping at the bees. The audience is no longer like fleeing. They're sort of like milling around. The guards are sort of pushing people back into the stands now that like the bees have all gone after one guy.
What if that do to those bees?
And the other the last mimic has thrown off the net, has gotten free from the grapple, and is now changing its shape into kind of like just a mass of boards and rope. Like what was a long bridge is now just becoming like an amorphous blob of like planks and ropes and all like what the area is made out of, and it's like grabbing them like tentacles. It's using the ropes like arms and climbing up towards you guys. Alina.
All right. Well, I am still holding on to this one. Oh no, Dwayne!
It is done.
It hit it
Dwayne
really good.
Just demolished it.
Yeah. All right, I will drop what's left of it, and I've still got my hammer. I'm gonna whip out my hammer as well. Kind of look beside me at Dwayne, give him a nod. Look over at Basilisk, give her a nod. And then I'm gonna hit this thing as it peeks its nasty fangy head up over the side.
It's climbing this way, but you can leap out to meet it.
Okay. I'm going to leap hammer first.
Throw yourself out, two-handed hammer.
Yep.
Thunderfist just plants himself and throws one of his hammers into it.
Good.
And Basilisk was like ideally supposed to go first, but like just basically maneuvered to
Just
like
holding
drop
action.
on it
Yeah.
all claws. I won't make you guys go
No.
through like all of the rolls. Between
There's
the three of
3
you,
pit
you're going to
fighters.
destroy this thing. So we'll
We put the hurt on it.
Can I get a few last puns in?
Yep.
All right. Okay, here we go.
Good.
The mimic seemed intent on getting revenge on the Bone Crusher. I guess that's what happens when you cross a bridge. But the Bone Crusher just hit the deck. What an explosion. Now, the Bone Crusher and Thunderfist are tag teaming the mimic, which I guess makes sense, because bridge is a team game. That bridge was supposed to remain undetected throughout the fight, but it failed. I guess you could say it can't deliver. I'll stop there. I have 2 more, but
so good. No, bring them.
No, end with cantilever. That's
good. Good. That's a good one.
That's a solid pun.
Surprisingly, not a solid structure. It involves
No.
projecting out over open space, anchored only on one side, as I feverishly just Wikipedia'd.
What's a cantilever?
So yeah, I guess I'll jump back briefly to Fettid. At this point, effectively, Vince is being reduced to like just like a cartoonish like cluster of like lumps from like the bee stings.
Mm-hmm.
As his guard is like continuously like practically knocking him into unconsciousness by slapping at the bees. Like he's got like 3 guards around him now, just like pounding him into the ground by smashing bees against his face. And he's just basically like lying in an unconscious heap. The brain is like attempted to run away like a few feet and then collapse gibbering on the ground, screaming about legs. And the remaining, he's not capable of using them right now. And the mimic is getting completely demolished by these 3 world-class pit fighters. Fettid, you rolled really well on those acrobatics checks. I'm gonna say there's a couple of stray shots from elf bows as you basically like run down the rope that's tying the boat up, and dash down the key and escape. And as you sort of disappear into the crowd / clutter of the dockside, you will encounter Tromlin, who has climbed out of the sewage water of the harbor and immediately prestidigitated himself clean.
Oh, before that, there was something I wanted to do. There was something before I left.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say your video froze, but it just unfroze as you said that.
All right, there's something I did want to do before this happened. I have to honor Mork. I promised him chaos. And I'm going to say for basically as I go with his desk, I will give you some chaos. Just please let this be what helps my friend. And then as I stand, and if I see the guards about to turn, or the diplomats, I want to look at the harp player and yell in Sylvan, "They're on to us!" and just vanish.
Excellent.
I want to frame the harp player as a spy.
Perfect.
Good.
Was that a deception check?
Not even. You already laid the groundwork by planting the stolen stuff on the harp player. So
that is my sacrifice. I sacrificed to Mork today. This man's entire life.
I'll even throw some flavor on there for you as Fettid is trying to escape and all of the like elf guards are like going after him. And you still have a view from inside before you like grab the silks and make that call. You can like cast your familiar or some other spell and like undo the mainsail so that it just all comes fluttering down onto the deck and like covers everyone.
My monkey
as like
knife.
Exactly, just as a big sort of like crazy chaos and then nope out.
Oh, you elves. You wacky elves.
Excellent. Okay. So with that, we will leave combat time. and pick up here. So as you finish the final blow, this mimic lies as like a mass of ropes and boards that vaguely has the shape of some kind of living thing. Copernicus, the as you're sort of going through your last set of puns there, suddenly the spell stops working and you're no longer amplified.
They cut my feed.
And you see like one of the other wizards has sort of pointed, and you realize that the wand has been dispelled. And the up in the main royal box, Nightshade sort of looking over everything just kind of with vague bemusement, but Gregory Langarian is leaning forward on the rail and is magically amplified by one of their wizards, shouts to the guards to seize McDuero
Nice.
and his compatriots. They have interfered with the match. This will not go unpunished, and he's clearly like
blustering to
saving face and glossing over the fact that you mentioned his name in the announcements. And like guards from the city like start just flooding in to the arena.
I'm gonna make myself scarce, I think.
I was gonna say
I have no more invisibility spells. So
yeah, they're probably gonna try to grab you too.
Yeah, I think I'm out of here.
Where are you gonna go?
Well, I know there's sewer entrances around here somewhere because there were all the quaggles. So I think I'm gonna go the way of the quaggle. And
Full
also
quaggle.
Just one with shadows and like sneak down out to the nearest, like get the hell out.
Yeah.
All right. Make me a stealth roll with your shadows bonus. I'm just gonna roll a generic roll for like average guard to see if you manage to slip past them as they run around trying to arrest everyone that they
29.
think. Yeah, you're no worries. Yeah, you slip back up one of the passageways that the trainers come out from, like the gladiators kind of come out from, and find like a back passage into like a sewer way and kind of slip out. The bees have been dispersed or otherwise dealt with, and the guards start arresting a bunch of the dwarves. The dwarven contingent with the diplomats are like pointing out everyone who like worked for McDuero.
Good.
Like handing them over basically, or grabbing them themselves in the box with their own guards.
Out on the sand, as like the final hammer strokes come down and this mimic kind of splatters all over us, Oogna's gonna like look around, make sure that none of the other mimics are moving, and then look beside her at Dwayne and be like, "It's a real honor to meet you, sir." Give him a nod, and then look over at Basilisk and be like, "You didn't know about this, did you?"
Basilisk will look like angry at first, like offended, like you would say, and say, "No, of course I didn't.
I didn't think so.
My trainers had a plan that I would drop the net on him and then lead him to the top of the arena. I didn't know they put these things here."
Oh, time to get a new trainer. That one's no good.
Did you want to try and
insight that?
I don't know if it's really in Oogna's makeup to take that as anything but face value.
Take people at face value.
Yeah.
This is why I need Tromlin.
May I make an argument?
Yeah.
1, you have been around Tromlin a long time.
That's true.
2, you have seen Tromlin watch people's faces and has probably more than once said, "That person's lying, here's the face."
Right.
And 3, you saw how she looked earlier.
That's true, and it did break my heart.
Yep.
I will try to Tromlin.
Okay.
14. I got a 0 on that. But I got a
insight.
14.
You 100% believe her.
May I offer to spend a point?
On what?
I mean, I'll spend a point.
A reroll or any bonuses, whatever I can do to help my friend.
Send some of your charisma my way.
Have a ghost Tromlin over her shoulder.
Sure.
I'm quite willing to spend my inspiration on that, but I don't have a good chance of rolling better.
Go ahead and spend your inspiration if you wish.
Sounds good. I'm going to.
It's your choice.
I'm going to do it. This is to avoid breaking Oogna's heart.
Yeah, I don't know what I want you to roll. I don't know.
Can I get like advantage on because of Tromlin's well wishes? Tromlin's a 16. That's better.
You got 16.
The spend was worth it.
100% believe her.
I still believe her.
Okay.
Yep.
I believe her. Good. I really want to.
And she could be telling the truth.
And so I like look
She could be
searchingly
telling the
into
truth,
her
yeah.
eyes for a moment after she's like, "Of course I didn't." And then I like that smile spreads across my face, and I go, "I knew you wouldn't. I knew you'd never do anything like that."
I would like you to roll deception now. And I'm going to roll her insight.
I'm very bad at that.
I
But are you
know.
deceiving?
7, 8, 9. I actually have a +2 to that for some reason. But a 9.
9 total? 9 total? Okay, she's got you beat there. No, just I'm not sure that you're not deliberately deceiving here, but you definitely would rather probably not completely have your heart on your sleeve here.
I can't avoid that.
do.
I am Oogna. That's just how this goes. Like I'm sure like even Dwayne notes at this point.
No. But she definitely has a clue. And Thunderfist is going to throw back his head and laugh. Just uproarious laughter. Clutches at his belt. It's like, well, is it a draw? And a bunch of flustered looking. You're not there anymore.
From the
You
shadows.
fled.
Yes.
You come running back out. No, I break the stealth. Forget the roll. I need one more pun. No. Yeah, a bunch of flustered looking officials are now like
I'll do the thing where you like link their hands together and then raise them in the air to say that it is indeed a draw.
You literally pick both of them up off the ground because they're a dwarf and a small sized tiefling, and the crowd roars. Just and given the attitude of the crowd, which is like enthusiastic, over the top, yeah. Still amplified voice. Langarian holds out his hands. You know, all like Roman emperor-y, and goes, I declare this match to be a draw. And everyone still roars and is very happy. And I think that is probably where we're gonna tie things up. So there's a massive gathering at the pub. The standard, the tavern where all of the pit fighters go to celebrate, and everyone's gonna rendezvous there, I think.
Ooh, Oogna's getting trashed tonight.
I will say,
trashed heroes.
just before we break it though, I will say that Fettid, on your way back to the stadium / to the tavern afterwards, one of the goth quaggles is going to come up and excitedly tell you, the traps worked. We drove them off, but we caught one in the pit.
Interesting.
What should we do with him?
I
think he's one of their leaders.
All right, we're gonna definitely need Tromlin for this at the very least. Probably Perny as well. Hang on to him for now. I'm gonna grab a couple of my friends, and I will be with you guys shortly.
Excellent.
Next
And that
game,
is where we will pick
Weasel
it up next
Trial.
game.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have some Weasel questioning and some general revelry in the aftermath of that extreme clusterfuck. So.
You mean best match ever?
Ever, yeah.
And that's it for the stream for tonight. Yeah, just some usual stuff at the end here. I would like to announce that we have a guest next game.
Oh, right.
Danielle's still going to be away for a while, so we have a guest stepping in. Howard Taylor of Schlock Mercenary is going to come and join us for some fun time shenanigans. I've already been talking with him about the character he's going to play, and it's going to be great.
Awesome.
I am very excited.
It is time to scandalize Howard.
Heck yes.
Indeed.
Oh boy.
You know what? He is not as easily scandalized as when I first met him, like in 2006.
True.
We've broken him down. We've eroded him.
It will always be one of my favorite Gen Con moments when he had to try and explain Mormon underwear to Jenny Breeden.
That was very good. That was
One of my favorite memories of him was at a convention where an attendee, one of his readers, was being kind of shitty to him, and he's like, "Well, I won't tell you what to do, but I'm sure Randy would." And he was joking, and I told him, "Fuck off!" And then Howard suddenly realized, "Oh, Randy will do it."
Yeah, he will.
Yes. He will. He did.
A pinch swearer.
Good.
Yeah, anybody have any stuff to shout out? I'll do my usual thanks from everyone to our Shadow DM, Dan. Oh, I just realized that we only ran one
poll. Oh, right.
One poll. Let me double check. I may leave it till next time.
Yeah.
But I want to double check what it was and remind myself what the poll was.
3 polls next time and have a lot of shenanigans.
I mean, we ended at a good point, so
Yeah.
I'm not super worried about it. I believe the other poll was not time sensitive. I'm just quickly pulling it up. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to put that poll up right now.
Okay. I will not look at the chat.
And it will affect the beginning of next game. So, yeah, so the poll is popping up right now, audience.
Let's do some shout-outs maybe, and then we'll do
our
raffle for the art cards.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anybody got any shout-outs?
Anybody got any projects they want to shout out?
I will once again shout out my other drawing streams. I am doing, let me tell you about my character. I think this Sunday, I got to check with my co-host. But that's a fun stream where my friend Maggie and I randomly generate D&D characters, and then I draw them. They're always very weird and broken, but a lot of fun. It'll be on this channel if it's happening this week. I think it is. And then on Tuesdays...
Tomorrow, or do you mean next Sunday?
Next Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, not tomorrow because we have plans. So next Sunday. Yep. And then on Tuesdays now, I am doing a stream with Kel McDonald, who I worked with on the Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales thing. So if you want to come just listen to the two of us talk about comics and movies and all kinds of stuff while we draw, that'll also be on this stream or on Kel's channel at twitch.tv/KelCMcDonald, I believe. But I'll put links up on Twitter. That one is at 8 p.m. Pacific. Yeah. Yep. So like 11 Eastern.
Cool.
That's it. That's my only shoutouts.
Anybody else got anything? It's the beginning of the year. It's kind of like, I don't even know what's going on.
Come read our comics.
Yeah.
Read the comics. Yep. Links in the upper right-hand box. All of the great comics that you can check out. I'll point to the wrong side so it looks right.
I'm just poking Oogna.
Yep. Poking Oogna in the face. I actually pointed the right way. Hooray!
Yay!
I did. So poll is currently running. Everybody recall that you can throw extra, I see people are already doing it, channel points and bits if you have a particular one that you want to see win. Wow, there are 2 front runners immediately. Excellent. And while that's still counting down, there's still probably about 7 or 8 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I am going to go ahead and make the roll here
Wanna
for
roll me a
the giveaway.
D12.
Just a quick note to the stream. So if you subscribe to the stream, that means that you are going to not only get the ad-free viewing and chat experience, you also automatically get added to the Discord, which includes a subscribers-only channel. The Discord is open for anyone else who wants to join. Maybe we should post the Discord
Link.
I think you can probably look at the chat without seeing. I
Okay,
think you have to open the poll.
I'm just gonna minimize it briefly.
Yeah, and so
there we
you can
go.
put the link to the Discord into the message. So that anyone who wants to join the Discord, please feel free. There's some fun community stuff going on there. But the last thing that subscribers get is they get to be included in our draw every game for a sketch card from our talented artists. So I am going to roll. Are we still on a D20 or are we above that now?
We're down. We got a D12.
Down at a D12. I got the die.
Okay.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Harry M. David.
Harry M. David is the lucky recipient of the next sketch card.
I think Harry David received one, but was like one of the first people to do so. So it's time again.
Hooray!
This hadn't come up that we've had the same person like back to back, but I don't know what we would do if that happened.
I think we said if it was within like the last one or two, we would re-roll.
Yeah.
But I think it was just the last one or two.
So
more
sweet.
art.
More art.
Is not bad. Nobody minds getting more art. There's still like 6 minutes left on the poll here, so we'll let that continue counting down. We'll hang out for a minute, and as soon as that's done, we will peace on out of here.
How are you?
How's everybody doing?
What you thinking about?
I was going to bring up the next game thing with you guys, so I might as well do that. I don't care if that's on the stream. Just that, of course, the one meeting that has been scheduled for me in the entire month of January now is on the Friday afternoon on the 21st. So we either have to skip a week or do an odd week, or just stick with Saturday for the month of January. What do you guys prefer?
I would personally prefer we eventually finally move to Fridays, but
yeah, I'd really like to.
When are you done being chair at work?
It's like a 3-year term.
Oh God, right?
1 year in.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is the problem with being chair, is that I get all of the random meetings.
I'm okay with whatever. Like, I mean,
I already have my regular meetings scheduled for the rest of the term, so I know that that's the only one that I think is interfering. I'll double check. So I think if we do the 22nd, Saturday the 22nd, I think I can confidently say that we can then move to Fridays, at least for the next 2 games after that, the 4th and the 18th.
And then we'd talk about figuring out what to do when conventions happen again, but I don't know if they're going to happen again, so I think we're okay for a while.
With the surge, I have to figure out what's going on with Gen Con this month, because that's when the money is due. It's the end of the month, so I got to be like, I've got to contact them and say,
well,
is it still happening?
Didn't we pay them already?
The first half, yeah.
No, we paid. Yeah, the second, the last of it that is due comes up at the end of January.
I've paid you though, right?
Yes, you're all paid up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has paid us in full except people who are just signing on now.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
No, you're 100% covered.
I just got to find out what the hell they're doing. Like, are they, pushing back the show again? Or are they not? Are they giving people the option? I suspect they're just going to say, to heck with it, we're going ahead with it. Because that's what other shows have done.
I also suspect that Indiana's not going to be great, though.
But it depends, because some places are doing further restrictions on large gatherings.
That's
right?
true.
Like they are here in Canada. They certainly, you couldn't have a convention in Vancouver right now. So I don't know if many of the states are going to pull that trigger, and I don't know if Gen Con is going to make a decision. We may end up like
more grape?
Having the money due and have to pay them, and then it turns out that they push the show back again.
Yeah, and nothing actually happens.
I really hope not, because I'd rather
it's a lot of money.
rather keep that money for another year. But
Pip.
It is what it is.
There's a merry boy.
Okay.
Come here, buddy. Go step up.
Our voting rate has slowed
Step up.
down. I think everybody might be happy
Good
with where
boy.
things are.
Good boy.
But I will note that there's still about 2 or 3 minutes left on the poll.
It's bird
I
time.
don't know why it just has a line that counts down and doesn't actually give you a timer. But
Enjoy a bird butt.
bird butt. Bird butt. Aw. Too many familiars. I think it's against the rules.
I mean, I think the poll still runs as long as the stream's running. I could set us on the end screen and we can run off and grab dinner and stuff. Seems like folks are tired.
Yeah, I think that's probably good enough.
Yeah.
We'll let this last
Sounds
minute
good.
count down here.
I'm
So why don't we
take us to the
go
end
ahead
screen.
and end the stream?
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll
Thank
see
you
you in
all.
2 weeks.
Yep. And then I just want to
Bye. And